starting the session shortly.
Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A city is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Quoting this wonderful line, I would like to start this unique program, ProVision, the webinar series 2020. Father Mullah Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, since its time of inception, is well known for its dedicated service in the field of homeopathy and patient care. Today, Father Mullah Homeopathic Medical College have come up with a unique educational program, ProVision, which provides a platform to all homeopathic fraternity to hear and share about the various homeopathic subjects. On this occasion, I would like to welcome Reverend Father Richard Aloysius Coelho, Director, Father Muller Charitable Institution, who always encourages us with his inspiring words and bold vision. I would also like to welcome Reverend Father Roshan Krafta. I will not hesitate to say that webinar series was his brainchild, which is successfully launched today. We have amongst us Dr. Shivaprasad K, a man with a firm determination, who was always a guiding support to our webinar series ProVision 2020. We also have amongst us Nadoja Dr. B.T. Rudri, our extinguished speaker for today, ProVision 2020. I welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome our dear Vice Principal, Dr. E.S.J. Prabhukiran, Dr. Girish Navada, DMS, and Apex body members, HOD, staff members, proud alumni of Father Miller Homeopathic Medical College Hospital. I would also like to welcome principals of various homeopathic colleges, staff and students of various homeopathic colleges who are present in this webinar session, ProVision 2020. Now, I request Reverend Father Richard Aloysius Coelho, Director, Father Muller Charitable Institution, to deliver his message to the participants.
Thank you, Dr. Dheeraj. Good afternoon and wishing you all happy Sunday. Welcome to Father Mullah Charitable Institution and especially to Father Mullah Homeopathic Medical College. The program ProVision is a unique platform that gives an opportunity to all our faculty as well as our alumni to come together to share their expertise and also to know the recent trends in homeopathy. We are all worried because of COVID pandemic. So I wish everyone to stay healthy, and especially now the homeopathy medicine is gaining a momentum to fight against this pandemic. All our alumni, we are extremely happy to greet you because you are ambassadors. It is good to know the eminent speakers, both national and international, and to share and to know their expertise is really an opportunity for all of us. At the same time, there are many who are aspiring to be homeopaths. And for them also, this is a platform to know something about homeopathy and thus to become great homeopaths. I congratulate Father Roshan for his far-sighted vision and also Dr. Dheeraj for his initiative. Wishing all our alumni, all the viewers, all the best. I see even Dr. Tiwari, our former principal. Doctor, happy to see you. Thank you.
I request Reverend Father Roshan Krasta, Administrator, Father Mullah Homeopathic Medical College Hospital, to deliver his message to our participants.
Hi everyone. Good evening, all of you. Hope I am audible enough.
Yeah.
Thank you. Respected Father Richard Aloysius Coelho, Director, Father Mullah Charitable Institutions. Respected Speaker of the Day, Nadoja Dr. B.T. Rudresh Sir. All our alumni of Father Mullah Homeopathic Medical College. All the participants of this webinar series today, and my dear friends. Hope all of you are keeping fit and healthy during the time of this pandemic, and I pray for all for your good health. So as an administrator of this prestigious institution, Father Mullah Homeopathy Medical College, I feel very proud and happy to be part of our new initiative, ProVision, the webinar series 2020. So at the very outset, I would like to welcome you all our alumni, especially. It is my pleasure and great honor to bring you all together as one family into this platform, ProVision webinar series. So my dear friends, this is ProVision can be pronounced or understood with different meanings. It can be pronounced as a provision. Provision in the sense it can be an opportunity. It is an opportunity, a link or a platform to be connected with all our alumni, first of all, who studied in our college here, also those who have been associated with this institution many years. So it is a provision or a network created, and that is why it is one of the objectives of this webinar series. And it is a provision. So we have started this series of webinars with a clear vision. With a clear vision, it's provision, constructive and positive step to introduce homeopathic system of medicine to the younger generation. So that is another very important objective that we have in our minds. So this will create an opportunity for those aspirants to know about homeopathic system, and they can join and study this homeopathic system of medicine. So it is also going to be a platform to enhance synchrony with parallel learning with other systems as well, and sharing each one's expertise, success stories through various ways, scientific presentations, case studies, or getting into national, international delegates, resource persons. So it will also help us to showcase our college strengths to future aspirants who want to come and study in our colleges. So I would like to thank all of you, especially at this historic moment, especially our director, Father Richard Coelho, for his guidance all the time. He has a very special concern for the homeopathic campus here. I thank our director, our principal, Dr. Shiv Prasad, vice principal, Dr. Prabhukiran, Dr. Girish, our DMS, and all Apex body members for their guidance and the help. And special thanks to Dr. Dheeraj Fernandez, who is the convener of this webinar series, and the team led by technical team, Dr. Sebastian, Dr. Vivek, Dr. Suraj, and so many of them. So we know who are behind this brain, working behind this webinar series. I thank all of them. So finally, a word about our alumni, my dear friends. So I have to say something about you and for you. Alumni networks is important for any professional colleges, and that they can act as a brand ambassadors for the alma mater. And you are our brand ambassadors in these networks. This network not only just about staying in touch or keeping in touch, but more than that, it is a platform of exchanging your expertise, your success stories, and also sometimes the challenges or difficult times that you faced and how you came up in your life. That is also a platform for you to share and give a suggestion for the future generation. So once again, I would like to appreciate all of you, all our alumni who studied here in our college, for your contribution to our college in various ways. And today for showing very keen interest in this webinar series, and you are participating in this series. So I would request you to keep in touch with us, stay in touch with us and with your alma mater and with your professors and teachers and colleagues as well. So through this platform, I would like to say that you are all belong to us. You are all belong to Mullerian family. So we think about you and we love you always. That is the message I would like to give to all those who study in our colleges. So this continue to be our brand with par excellence. And that is why this is a very, very important platform created. Let us come together, stay together, share our experience, and also give your feedback as well. So before I conclude, my dear friends, a few requests that you are our promoters. So help us with sometimes new admissions. Now admissions are open now for the UG and PG. So you can help us. And also you can take active part in all the activities that we conduct from our college, and follow us in our official media portals as well, and give your valuable suggestions. And we are also with you and ready to help you. We are also collaborator with you as much as possible. So once again, I thank you all. Thank you, our director. Special welcome and thanks Nadoja Dr. B.T. Rudresh sir, because in his very busy schedule, he has given his time for us today and he is with us. Sir, I welcome you and I thank you so much for your time for us. On the topic COVID-19 and management in homeopathy will be very interesting to listen from you and going to be a very interactive session as well. So once again, thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Good evening, everybody. Bowing down to and seeking blessings from all the teachers on this day of Guru Purnima, Buddha Purnima, we call it as. I extend my wishes to each and every student of Father Mullah's Homeopathic Medical College. Happy Guru Purnima, and what a day to start our webinar series, a month-long program which starts today and it goes on till the 4th of August 2020. I thank our director, Reverend Father Richard Coelho, and the management for giving us all the support whenever we needed them. And this is a new venture which we are going to have it in the process of teaching learning methodology. It is not going to pull us down due to this COVID, whatever is the pandemic around this world. We are at it, trying to disseminate the brand of Muller through homeopathy and its privileges in helping the suffering humanity. On this day, remembering and paying tributes to our founder in the teaching fraternity, Dr. M.L. Dhavle, and the ISER institution, who has guided us in all the teaching methodology and the continuation of the learning process in this institution. Today's program, we are having a concept which is related to the modern day practice, the current situation, that is COVID-19. We have missed us one of the legends of homeopathy in Karnataka and all over India, and he has also traveled throughout the world, giving guidance and his expert opinion on this particular field of homeopathy. Sir, I'm very happy to introduce Nadoja Dr. B.T. Rudresh on this day, a program of webinar series, Provision. I think the homeopathic world doesn't require a special introduction of Sir. Sir is known all over in the field of homeopathy by his involvement in the clinical practice, in the administrative capacity, in the academic field, as well as in the research field. Sir is the recipient of Hahnemann Gold Medal, Rajyotsava and Kempegowda Award, Doctorate of Science from the Kuvempu University. He was also bestowed Nadoja from the Hampi University. He is holding the post of, and he is leading us in front with the post president of Karnataka Board of Homeopathic System of Medicine. Under his leadership, we are having the Homeo Bhavana at Bengaluru, which is a feather on the cap in the field of homeopathy and also in the administrative setup in Karnataka. And in fact, it is in India, one of its kind. He is also the member executive of the Board of Governors, Central Council of Homeopathy, New Delhi, was instrumental in introducing the bill with the help of Ministry of Ayush regarding the management of COVID patients and all the protocols which are required for the management of COVID in India. He is also the member of faculty from the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Karnataka, and the chairman of the Homeopathic Foundation. There is no media where he has not entered and he has given his expert opinion. Say it is in the TV, it is in the electronic, say it is in the literary world. Sir has contributed and he has given his ideas which are something very, very genuine. Even when we talk about now this particular condition, COVID-19, he has got his own views by means of which we can handle, we can manage, we can treat COVID patients in spite of a high rise in its prevalence in India. As you all know, Bengaluru is showing its rise in the COVID cases. Sir has given his views. He has also treated the cases and he has got some experience regarding which he is going to share with us. On this day, I welcome Sir to this program of webinar series and I request him to take over the proceedings for the next 1.5 hours. Welcome you, sir. Welcome on behalf of all the people gathered here. Thank you, sir. Unmute. Sir, unmute.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Shall we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. On the Guru Purnima day, where I remember all my gurus, we say in Kannada, Vandakshara Kalisidata Ta Guru. That means even if I have learned one single sentence from somebody, that is Guru. We used to call during writings in papers and all from past 40 years, somebody said, hey, this was written by him, no? Then I said, if you make all the writers to stand in a big queue. One hand will be in another's pocket. The world is such, we have learned a lot of lessons, and to especially with the homeopathy, whatever the amount of ordeals that which have undergone from 40 years, from zero to whatever we are now, it's something amazing. That I don't need to talk about Father Mullers, who introduced homeopathy to Karnataka. They are pioneers, and I'm sure we should have first thanked Dr. Shiv Prasad and Reverend Fathers and all the administrative faculty, both teaching and non-teaching, of Father Mullers, for having me given this platform for sharing my experiences and thinking aloud. I am not going to teach anything here. It is purely sharing my thoughts, sharing my experiences with you. I may be wrong, I may be right, but you have no time left to go on retrospectively if you think there is no time left. Now, today's subject is COVID-19 and homeopathy. The moment we come to know the COVID, we did not care first. Then WHO took 57 days to declare that it is pandemic. To say it comes from man to man, it took 7 days. That's where we have lost time in India, where we could have made all the international airports sealed down. We lost precious time there. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಗಾದೆ ಇದೆ, ಕೋತಿ ವನನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ತು ಅಂತ. The monkey has spoiled the forest. Now, instead of we catching the monkey, we are trying to cover up the whole garden, whole community now. That's where it went wrong. And secondly, first it said 57 days to tell that. It took another 50 days to tell us that this is pandemic. From epidemic, when it turned to pandemic, it almost took another 50 days to tell us. That's where we lost precious of time. Now, I'm sure I'm talking to my professional colleagues. I just can't decry their knowledge. I am neither nowhere I'm superior to them. As I told you, you all know that we had a lot of problems initially, even in Karnataka. The meeting was going on in Delhi with the scientific committee in the CCRH. On January 20th, if I remember correctly, it was too early to decide a genus epidemicus or a preventive at that juncture of the time. Then, if somebody asks me, if somebody tells me that without going to Wuhan, how can you prescribe? Exactly. So, what is the homeopathic basic principle under epidemics? We all know the 100th aphorism. We all know the genus epidemicus. We have been telling this from BHMS first year to MD to for all the people. But the question now is, where is the genus epidemicus to fix it up? Okay. In the absence of the genus epidemicus, what is the other way of coming to the similar remedy or similimum or whatever you call? The next things which was left to us was symptoms similarity. On the symptoms of the similarity, the CCRH at that time fixed arsenicum album 30. At that time, I did feel that arsenicum album can be the remedy because nobody has seen a single case. It is still in the transcendent speculations of whatever they hear and say. Then all the homeopaths who are sitting here, they immediately rose to the occasion. And everybody started, homeopathy kodbeku. We have to give homeopathy. we have to give homeopathy. The problem now is, when I speak to the ministers, when I spoke to the chief minister or his secretariat, they were very clearly telling me, already ನೀವು ಬಂದು ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿ ಔಷಧಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, ಜನ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ರಿ. Its meaning was, you only come and ask us, we would give homeopathic medicines. People have not come to us asking homeopathic medicines, and they are right in telling so, because our status in society, in spite of after practicing 40 years, seeing more than 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs patients, seeing from king to pauper, I have come to a conclusion. Even today, people many times ask me still the same question what they would ask me 40 years back. Is it scientific? Or your medicine have tried, you have done any clinical trials? When everybody is telling it is no medicine for pandemic like this, and you homeopathic people will always tell anything, all my allopathic professionals comment the same way, even in the university. Hey guru, yen kaile barle, ee homeopathy doctor ella cure ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಾನಮ್ಮ. No, we have never told, we have read what is Boyd's basic definition of homeopathy. It is still in our head. We are not claiming anything and everything. If only if those systems could do well, there was no necessity for us to work out here. And vice versa. If we would have worked all the cases, there was no necessity for them to go to allopathy or anypathy for that matter. Now things have come to a rate, people are very, very intelligent. Now everybody goes to Google, everybody searches, everybody comes, they are only testing your knowledge. They are not ignorants or innocents who are sitting in front of you. They are only posing that they are that, which is not. They are actually testing you. And if you commit one mistake, they tell 200 people. And in the clinic, most of the times I get almost around 20-25% of allopathic doctors. Some of them, they declare that they are allopathic doctors, and some of them will not. They don't open their mouth. They have come as a attendant to the main patient. He will listen, how I will manage, how a homeopathic doctor will do cases. Let me see. That's what he thinks. But for me, it doesn't make any difference. Even if the dean of the medical college or professor, even if he sits next to him, doesn't matter. Because I know what I am doing. My system has clearly taught to me. Why I am trying to come out today with this thinking aloud is to say that what is our position in the society. Even any one of us claim that we are king of Bethlehem, nobody cares. People believe results. You give results, people believe. That's what, as far as homeopathy is concerned. If the truth is again told that agar homeopathy hai duniya mein, it is only because of its sustaining capacity in spite of all the odds. The basic principles of us can never change, and we don't have ever changing, never similar theories. Okay, now I'll go back to the January 20th when they decided arsenicum album 30. I did feel arsenicum album had some capacity of whatever the symptom similarity. I did feel that the potency should have been 200. That's what my concept was. I don't say that that's right. This was my thinking. Then, in the absence of genus epidemicus, when you select a remedy, what were the signs and symptoms of the WHO, which has given to us? It starts with fever, goes into cough, shortness of breath, myalgia, fatigue, sputum production, headache, hemoptysis, diarrhea, respiratory rate going to about 24 per minute, confusion, sore throat, rhinorrhea, chest pain, nausea and vomiting, conjunctival congestion, nasal congestion, chills, throat congestion, tonsil swelling, enlargement of lymph nodes, rash, pharyngalia, dizziness, abdominal pain, anorexia. I think if I go on, I think I will have to quote everything in the repertoire. And for every case you repertorize, you arrive certain remedies which may match or may not match. The approach that which you take, whether it is repertorial or non-repertorial, reversible, irreversible, is up to the physician to decide. Now, what is this? This medicines, I mean, this pandemic has started as COVID-19. Whatever we heard through media, whatever we heard through lot of people, they have given us beautiful picture. Initially, they said it is the lungs failure, lungs are gangrenous, they are dying, so that we want to pump in. It took the earliest incubation period was between 2 to 3 days. The ideal time it took was 7 days. In some cases, it has taken up to 10 days. Now, coming back to the symptom similarity, whenever I select a remedy, suppose even if it is through repertorial or capacity of my knowledge of the materia medica or my previous experience that which I have in treating such cases, is that earlier whatever I had seen starting from dropsy from the time of 1996 in Delhi, where I was called as an expert of homeopathy. My intention was during Vajpayee's government, where Harshavardhanji, Dr. Harshavardhan was health minister of Delhi then. My contention was, if I am right, people were dying because of dropsy, because of rhinotoxicity of the sarsuka tail. That sarsuka tail was contaminated or made in the black market. They made the datura seeds, which looks like saswe, is that they mixed that. And datura seed was the rhinotoxin. My contention, there are already 80 people died. There were government homeopathic people sitting in Delhi, and none of them, nobody reacted. Somehow I felt, if homeopathy is true, that a medicine made from datura seed must be the remedy. I told that. Luckily, somebody told Harshavardhanji, and the next day there was a big article in Hindustan Times telling that there is a doctor here who has done some kidney cases in Bangalore, around 200 to 300 cases, and he is claiming that I did not make any claims. I did not said that I have invented a medicine. I did not said anything other than homeopathic basic principles. I said, if that is the case, if there is a medicine, I found out, yes, you also know, there was a medicine known as Argemona mexicana. Then Vajpayeeji next day came from Germany. Morning he took the paper on the same day where they have written quarter page on me. He read it, he immediately called, Harshavardhan, bulao isko, Bangalore say. Next day I went to Delhi. Dr. Manchanda was deputy director of Ayush Delhi then. With him, I had asked certain things. We visited 6 to 7 hospitals. We have admitted 50 patients in Nehru Homeopathic Medical College, gave Argemona mexicana 200 to all of them, 4 times a day, 3 days. In 3 days, I was staying there. In 3 days, 49 were discharged without any complication. If my medicine is right, if homeopathic principle is right, the remedy which selected on that day was right. The same principle today comes into picture to me. If there is an iota of any sense to any governments, to any of our senior homeopaths, to any of our what's so called the bureaucrats, and if there are any sensible people, they should have diluted the COVID-19. A private person cannot do it. The government had all the accessories, government had all the access to all these laboratories, to all these pakka doing things. They should have done this. But they did not do it, unfortunately. What they should have done, they should have separated the RNA of COVID-19, diluted, potentized, and they should have made it available as an ozone and as a preventive. This is only why I am thinking alive. I may be right, I may be wrong. And if that was not done, then what are the other alternatives we have? The other alternatives we have symptom similarity, the onset of the disease, seat of the disease, depth of the disease, virulence of the disease, susceptibility of the individual, and mortality. A simple thing which started from cold, which can go up to the death. That is the march of events in front of us. What are the remedies that which comes to our mind? Honestly, arsenicum is one among them. Then the second thought was the histopathology was very clearly shown that the tissues were edematous. They were enveloped by protein globule. There was vascular congestion. That's what the histopathology showed. But actually, people started dying there only because thinking that shortness of the breath, they started giving ventilators. N number of ventilators were given, but what they did not realize, ventilators ultimately did not realize. Thousands of people died, even in China and Italy. Now, I have a first-hand information of New York Medical College, where one of my best friends, a doctor, was working. She told very clearly, sir, in the first week, we had full of patients. There were no beds available. People were made to lie down on the roads and the parapets of hospital. There were no grocery available in New York. We drank only soups and we worked. What she told me very clearly was, inside the 30-bed hospital where she was in charge, she was told, take out the ventilator if the man is above 60 and even up to 40 if he did not come down. Then came the beauty. The beauty was when the Italy went through the post-mortem, they found out it is not just because of the lung failures. It is disseminated coagulation of the blood, the pulmonary embolism, pneumonitis, gangrene, and lungs are not functioning. It is not want of oxygen. And when they did, the hemoglobin was unable to carry the oxygen. That's where it was going long and they died. That's where my other remedies like Ferromet, like Merxal, like phosphorus, and all these anti-bleeders like Lacasis, Naja, all those came to my mind. My only question now was, okay, now we are mentally prepared. We are looking into all the things which are happening in the world. You have to be, because there is no homeopathic institute. Time and again, it calls all the practitioners and it teaches them what has to be done during this, what has to be during that. That is not available to us, unfortunately. Somehow, after the marriage, how you learn? You learn with trial and errors. Though there are very intelligent doctors who can straight away come to the remedies, but they are very few. And they have to come with their personal experiences. That's what, as a homeopathic doctor from 40 years here, we said. Now, whether you like it or not, we have to see. We have to see whether the arsenicum album help or not help, whether that is the preventive or not. During Epidemic Act, should we call that we are issuing preventives or not? We cannot call that. So what we coined a word called immunobooster. At times I chuckle or laugh to myself, can the immunity be brought overnight? Can we the immunity given the previous night, bring it tomorrow morning? It can develop, yes, which is symptom on the basis of symptom similarity with your prescribe. I have my own doubts, but all said and done, having this committee which has decided, we should have distributed arsenicum album, but 30 or whatever it is, and we should have distributed to whom? Not to people who are inside home in AC rooms. They are all happy. They are not exposed to anybody. There is no necessity of distributing them. To whom we should distribute? If the government allows, the first line warriors, policemen, sisters, ayahs, whoever is contacted, the infected person, his primary contacts, his secondary contacts should have been given according to me. But we were not allowed to give. In Karnataka, they did not even allow the arsenicum album to be given. I did approach the Chief Minister. Honorable Chief Minister did agree, because I told him very clearly, when they don't have any medicine, and how dare they can tell yours is not scientific or we will not give you. But unfortunately, if anything goes wrong, even in your house or in my house, the first thing you have to take it to a good hospital. I'm sure where the oxygen is available, where the IV fluids are available, where the acute emergency instruments, acute emergency medicines are available. That is our problem. If something goes wrong, you cannot treat even a fever case in your clinic. You will be immediately summoned if it turns out to be a COVID. And that is the epidemic law. Here we can't choose what we want. What we can do even during this. Fine. Then I stick down to the principle, spoke to the Chief Minister. He agreed to distribute. I think the Ayush department has distributed around 12 lakhs immunoboosters, or you call preventive, being distributed to a lot of people. According to me, there is no point in distributing to all the people who are walking on road. That may not be possible. We could have been identify the lot and community and should have been done this. Now, my question was very simple. Now, whatever it is we have given, and most of them have, even after taking arsenicum album, my own sister husband, who was sitting in a meeting, 30 people who were sitting in Jindal, 20 were infected. The man who was sitting next to him, he was infected. And the next neighbor was also infected, including my sister, my sister's husband and son. They were taking arsenicum album 200. I had given 200 in my personal experience. They were taking 2 days previous to these infections where he was exposed to. Believe me, none of them got it. Now, there were incidences where even after giving arsenicum album, they were infected. But then that doesn't mean that arsenicum album did not help. The problem with us was that somebody said in Bombay, Camphora 1M has to be distributed. In Pune, some industrialist, he almost took an oath on Camphora 1M, distributed to 65,000 people. If I were to be in power, I would have got him arrested in 1 day, I'm telling you. When there is an epidemic act going on, when the government has produced or issued the guidelines of what so-called the immunobooster, how dare as a countryman, how dare as a professional, we can cross? Who has to answer? And some other doctor told, you spray Sepia 200 around your house, like DDT. Virus will not come. Pray, which Jamana we are in? People laugh at us. They make mockery of us. Why I'm trying to tell you this? We have to oppose our own professional brothers. They oppose us. ये लोग कुछ नहीं किया, RCT नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया, double blind method नहीं किया. Yours is not a science. But I must tell you, from March 4th, I have gone to 13 channels. I continue to do a weekly program for 2 hours on live on Ayush TV. I have convinced the public, including what so-called self-declared scientific people, in a beautiful manner, telling that, look, what did Sir William Osler said? Sir William Osler is known as father of medicine. And he is also known as doctor's doctor, who died in 1930, a Canadian doctor. He said very clearly, medicine is a science of uncertainty, art of probability. That's what he said. And what did the Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital, Louis Thomas, the director, where our Rishi Kapoor went and checked up, our Jetli sir went and checked up, almost all the tops who have a lot of money, they go to the Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital. The director, Louis Thomas, very clearly told that I don't know why people are under the impression that medicine is science. I'm not trying to defend myself. I'm only trying to make them aware to my own professional brothers where we are. What are you talking about? Why are you talking about me when you don't know what is happening here? Is it okay if you take HCQ, which has not been tried? 2 anesthetists died. My friends, they died. Is that okay? If it affects heart, is that okay? When ventilators were not necessity, you are giving ventilators. You should have given, actually, according to that New York hospital where I have the primary information. I have one more Kannadiga who is working in England, London, Thames, Thompson Hospital. There, I have taken all the informations there. What is their treatment? They very clearly told, doc, we did a gross mistake by giving everybody. We did not know what to do. Even in the last stage, we gave ventilators and lot of oxygen pumping level. No, what they should have done was, because there is a pulmonary, it is going to be a cytokinase force, cytokinase star. That is the time they should have woken up. What they did, they started giving Disprin 500 mg every day. Some 20 ml shots, 2 mg or 20 mg shots of hydrocortisone. And somehow they found that zinc tablets will somehow take care of the cytokinase and they will enhance the immunity against these proteins and vitamin C. These are the only 4 things they did it. And believe me, after 1 month of treatment, New York hospital doesn't have a single case. Now, we all know that disease is dynamic, man is dynamic. Arsenicum album January mein bola, so even in June you try on doing things. No, diseases won't read textbooks. We have to write the textbooks. So it changes. It has changed. My perception of giving medicines like phosphorus and all those things, they fail. Whether you like it or not, I am treating, and after practicing for 40 years in Bangalore, where even the most of the 20% of my practice also involves with allopathic doctors, they all know we don't have anything. If the truth has been told, I have given 5 leading hospital arsenicum album 200 each for almost all the leading 5 hospitals. And I have given almost 20% of the who comes to me. So what I decided, like whatever earlier I was thinking to give arsenicum album as phosphorus now has changed. As I told you, whether it may be unethical and it may be illegal to treat a COVID patient by homeopathy or by Ayurveda or by any other mode of medicine without the permission of the government. But Gandhiji has very clearly told, customer is always right. Agar patient ne manga, then all your isms, all your dharma, all your things go off, theories go off. So amongst our patients who comes to me now, I have not stopped my practice. I have not stopped. Even today I see around 60-80 patients, out of which some people who are infected patients, I have spoken to them. One patient, I will tell you 3 cases in front of me who I am treating and what I did. In one case, the next man in his factory, 30 people infected. This man started showing signs, who happens to be in the same road of where I live. Then the very next day, he felt something is going wrong. He sent his parents, who are old age, away to their daughter's home. And he sent his wife and daughter to their mother's place. In the evening, he called me up. He said, sir, all these people who started getting positive, they all had same march of events. Started with the same cough, fever, then throat, then this thing, and this went on. I gave, somehow I felt, okay, now they should not go into the next thing. I gave phosphorus 200 cent. 2 doses did not help him. Then when I was sitting in there, he called me up. He spoke to me on the line, what was his signs and symptoms. When he was talking, out of 5 minutes, he was coughing 7-8 times, which was typically a barking cough, like a pertussis cough. With the sound itself, I felt what is the remedy. I kept it down. I selected Bryonia 1M. I always have the second remedy because night I don't want to get disturbed. I had selected the second remedy as Pertussin 1M, Bryonia 1M, in alternation every 2 hourly. I had given them and sent. They started at 7 o'clock. 11 o'clock when I was having my, 12 when I was having my food, he called up. Sir, this cough has not come down. I'm going down. I'm sure all my friends have the same set of symptoms and I'm sinking down. Fever, though it is very mild, I have lost appetite. The cough is not stopping. I had at 11 or 12 o'clock, I had no other options. I just asked him to continue. I also slept. I don't know what happened. Next day morning, 9 o'clock, 9:10, I think I was having my breakfast. I was about to call him. He called me and said, sir, after the 3rd dose, the cough has never came back to me. It stopped. I slept. Today, after 2 days, I ate 4 idlis. I continued Bryonia 1M and Pertussin 1M even till today. 2 days, the patient is completely all right. In spite of that, I have sent him to COVID test. Tomorrow, we may get the result. I'm sure whether he gets positive or negative, I know the patient is all right. The second case, one of my hotelier from Kundapur, his cousin who is running a Darshini hospital, I'm sorry, hospital, Darshini hotel in Avini Road, because of the condition and all, he has got infected. Then he was admitted to one leading hospital here in a separate room. And for him also, seeing, I did not ask him because he was unable to contact. His relative came. I had given him also the phosphorus 200 because he is infected case. He called me up. When I was speaking, he had the same typical barking cough, but along with fever. Then I called this fellow, his relative who stays near to me in my clinic. I had given him Bryonia 1M, Pyrogenum 1M in alternation every 2 hourly. Believe me, today is 3rd day. The saturation of oxygen had come down to 90, which used to be always 97 and 98. Today, where it was 90 after introducing Bryonia and Pyrogenum. You may ask why two remedies, but you see my practice, boss. If you fail, सब बोलता है होम्योपैथी वाले अरे वो चुपके नाम वाले कुछ नहीं होता. And I don't want to take that chance at all. I'm sure people are result oriented. But anyway, what remedy has acted, you have to decide. But today, after the 3rd day, is again oxygen saturation point has come to 98. This is my second case. The third case, where the Batrayampura, where it is a containment area, a traffic police, poor fellow, doesn't have money, he got infected. He's still at home because he has not got a hospital room. And you know what was his beauty was? That is where homeopathy, my dears, that's where homeopathy. If you go by name, if you go by COVID-19, I'm sure you will miserably fail. I still believe and advocate man behind the disease is more important, even in epidemics, even in pandemics. When I asked him, boss, what is your problem? Sir, ನನಗೆ ಸುಸ್ತು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಜ್ವರ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದೇ ತರ ನನ್ನ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. The only thing is I am not getting no smell, anosmia. I'm not, no smell, no taste. My wife is also doing that. And what was your other things? Then I somehow felt the way he was, I selected a remedy which told very clearly, tissues worn out faster than they are repaired. Tissues worn out faster than they are repaired. Zinc met was the remedy. I have given zinc met 1 m to him along with arsenicum album because preventive has already gone. I just wanted to make sure that at least he gets a preventive 1 or 2 doses. Loading dose was given that. I'm continuing with zinc met. After 24 hours, his sense of smell has come back. And every day 2-3 cases are coming. I'm trying to treat them. I may not able to show it up to the society, but with my brothers, professional brothers and sisters, I can always share, because most of the times my intention and your intention is people who have come to you to give them the relief, to give them the solace. That's what I personally felt. I'm sure you will also feel the same thing. Now, whether we should be able to go to the level of changing our remedies. For heaven's sake, stop talking only in terms of COVID, pathophysiology, histology, march of events, whatever it is. Take that case if it is an infected case, then and there only. If he is not available, no video calls are available, the man is in front of you. The most important thing is, jo dar gaya, samjho mar gaya. That's what I've seen with all the COVID patients. 50% of them have fear of death. In one of the cases, though I should have given Aconite, I don't know, because he was I know the family. I had given him Jalsemim as a loading dose, then they followed the indicated remedy. Don't change any pattern of your way of prescribing just because somebody has named it as a COVID-19, 20, 21, and so on, so forth. Now, can I change the system? No, you can't change the system. I'm sure I am highly convinced in 40 years. What? You can tell life-changing decisions, lifestyle diseases. No, you should not have this. Whatever this pandemic, the nature is teaching us a lesson. That's all right, but the present situation, nobody cares. Even if I die, I want what I want. Why I was trying to tell you this was, the inventions of these, what so-called the scientists face, is not according to the nature. Nature doesn't want this kind of life to be continued. Why? Why? Because, for example, there is a raw mango. You pluck that mango, put powder, you see that it will ripen in 3 days. And you call that a scientific advancement. Against the nature, when man lives, the same thing happens while prescribing remedy. The law of similars is ultimate. Is the nature's natural law of principles. It can never change. I've kept on telling, if a case fails, it is not the failure of the homeopathy. It is failure of the individual doctor. Even today, I really stand by that statement, because I've seen a number of cases where they miserably fail. So let us not go by the name of COVID-19. And if I don't know the pathophysiology, pathology, onset of symptoms, this, whatever, then all my professional brothers and the community feels that this fellow is a dead fellow. मालूम नहीं है उसको. वो कोई अडुगलजी, वो होम रेमेडीज देता है ना, ऐसा कोई आदमी है. इसके लिए we all have the knowledge. We are little beyond that. We are trying to certainly individualize. That is number one. This is for you to ponder. The man's thing. This is not new to us. In 1918, American military hospital had 26,000 people with Spanish flu. They tried in military hospital the same double-blind method. They did improve the first half, the second half. They did not improve. Whoever treated, then homeopathy was flourishing in America. It has been chased away because of their misdeeds in America. Let us not do it in India today. Let us not fool public. If I can't treat straight away, you tell it is not possible. If it is irreversible, don't make any assurances, any wrong assurances. If you fail, if a patient dies in front of you, you have gone for the life. Allopaths have got license to kill. I'm sorry, license to certify when they die. We don't have. Even if you have, there is a lot of things pending. Let us try to understand with the available resources, we can still do wonders. For the first time, when the Spanish flu came in 1918, we had invented electricity. When the plague came, we had invented a radio, electromagnetic radio waves. When SARS came, bird flu came, lot of people died, lot of people have gone in Hong Kong, bird flu. Then that was the first city to have full 4G. Now in 2019, there was a city which declared as world's first #1 5G city, where I can drive the motor vehicle car without the driver, and everything done with the 5G was Wuhan. I am not trying to tell the evolution of man and the scientific, what so-called the technological advancements which hinder the nature's pace. This is not what nature has done. There were a lot of pandemics like this earlier also. In 6th century, there was a thing like this, 200 million people died. Then what changes is brought? All the Rajas, they were very small in Asia and Europe. All that has gone. They started thinking in terms of democracy. In 14th century, the Black Death, people revolted against Vatican City because they all totally, everything was moved with Vatican City. People were not saved. So they stood against that. They become, again, 200 million people died. And we have also seen during plague in our own place and in other places. What all this shows? After all, antibiotics were just invented 80 years, 100 years back. Earlier to this, millions and millions of years did mankind did not inhabit the earth. How did they have all that immunity without all these amenities? They have lived with nature. Now, at the incidences of the pandemic like this, you can't tell what time to sit, what time to get up, how to eat, how to develop your immunity, all these years which were not known. Now, as homeopaths, according to me, as homeopaths, what is our role today? Knowingly or unknowingly, you have developed a fleet of homeopathic followers. You stand by them. You take care of them. You remain in their trust. Maintain those trust. Don't run pillar to post to government to give the permission. Let people go and ask the governments. Until then, we will have to work. Homeopathy can never fail, I will tell you. I'm sure 100%. We'll only little bit more open, more learning, and I sincerely feel all the senior homeopaths, if the younger lot are ready to listen to, if you have some tips to give it to them, please give it to them. As I told you, I will always have 2 remedies. I am ready to take only the symptoms, the available right and then and there only. Some symptoms are known as crowning symptoms, only with 1 or 2, that's enough. I have selected. Where nothing was available, on pathological prescriptions. And after seeing the post-mortem report, I did feel because of all this coagulation, disseminated DIR, DAC, what they call it as, if that is the case, then I was thinking in terms of phosphorus, thinking in terms of Merxol, Lacasis, NASA, Crotalus, Sardis, medicines of that order. But don't be carried away with the pathology at all. You may impress the scientific community. You will not impress the patient. You will not impress the inner conscious of Hahnemannian thinking. I think with this, I've taken 40 minutes. So I think I can still go ahead on and on. I will recall once again Sir William Osler, who is known as father of modern medicine, who is also known as doctor's doctor, who said his two quotes I would like to quote. Number one, no other human being on this earth done good to medicine than Hahnemann. That was his statement, number one. Number two statement, the good physician treat the disease. The excellent physician treat the disease with the man. There are good people. I forgot in my way of deliberation the one portion which I wanted to bring to your notice of Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital Director, Huey Thomas, who said very clearly, the medicine has never begun as a pakka science compared to the harder physical sciences like physics, chemistry, and mathematics. It is still in pre-Darwinian, pre-Newtonian era. We don't know the causes of 85% of the disease. Another 15% what we think we know is infectious and deficiency diseases. That theory is also 50% right, 50% wrong. With the same hereditary, same environment and disease potential individuals in twins, one will get deficiency, one will not get. After exposing, even if you think of immunological capacity and thinkings also, in twins, one will get the typhoid after drinking the fridge water, fridge milk, but the other did not get it. So, the stalwarts even in allopathy, they were also too good. Let us also not forget that our founder was the third best physician on the earth of his time. He was a scientist par excellence. Let us not forget that. And I have seen a lot of our homeopaths internally, they were little insecure and inferior. Please come out of this. I'll tell you, patients, like a dog, they can smell who is the thief, who is the right man. The patients also gauge you from top to bottom. Please come out with your knowledge. If you have not studied all these days, never mind, burn your midnight oil. You will be doing wonderful job. Stick to the principles of Hahnemannian principles, the 12 observations, acute diseases, acute prescriptions, how to immediately change. In spite of all this, I must tell you, you must be aware whether I am right or wrong. I told you practicing from 40 years, 100, 150 patients per day. All these people during the interval time after 1 month or 15 days after my indicated remedy, they do get a dose of miasmatic remedies. Don't ever fail to understand that miasm. If it is acute, what tubercular miasm or tuberculous pneumonia, vice versa, or psychotic or syphilitic, when they end up with what are the syphilitic remedies. Let all of these may be there in your thinking. Certainly, you open to Hahnemann, he will show you the way. With this, thanks for Father Muller's, all fathers, and our principal and vice principals and all the staff and everybody for giving me this opportunity to share my little knowledge. I may be wrong, and thanks for all my professional brothers who can tolerate my blabberings. Namaskar.
Hello, sir.
I'm done.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. We have, yes, sir.
I can take.
Yes, sir. We have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
From the chat box.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Dr. Delcy wants to ask you, can pertussin be given in case of barking cough? like when the patient is not with COVID infection? Can it be given?
You see, in emergency, everything is okay. If you feel that you are sure of the signs and symptoms of pertussin, I should have given pertussin only. But I had seen lot of North Indian COVID positive cases. They were coming round with bryonia. I couldn't totally discriminate between bryonia and pertussin. I had given two medicine. Probably any one of the two must have acted, or one of the other must have acted. Whether it is given or not, very clearly Clark shows if it is indicated, even if it is a inimical remedy, what you have given earlier, please give it. That's what Clark says.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We have a question from Dr. Satisha. He is asking how RSAL acts.
You have to go to CCRH website. I had one arsenicum album, what's so called if modern scientists want the way it wants to. But arsenicum, you all know that used to be given in the Alps mountain people who are Sherpas like ours, who used to vertically go up against the gravity, and as well as where there was no air was available. They were fed with arsenic from childhood. They were made resistant even at the minutest level of oxygen available. They could survive at the 11,000, 12,000 feet from the earth. That's what the arsenic is all about. I think arsenic, you also know what is the signs and symptoms, how it stops, even where there is one more Clark to see. Feet of prolonged endurance. You see that? Feats of prolonged endurance. You can define whatever you want to define. Arsenicum album, according to me, 30 may not be the case, 200 will work.
Yes, sir. We have other question from Dr. Nam. He is just asking any other immune booster medicine other than arsenic album.
Pardon?
It's a question from Dr. Nam. He is asking, is there any other immune booster remedy other than arsenic album?
Yeah, I think if you see, if you know the history of the patient who are coming to you, if they are frequently coming down with acute infections, one dose of tuberculinum 1M, 1 day, will enhance your other remedies. Tuberculinum 1M, you can certainly think of. The caution is, if they are not suffering from acute pathological changes like liver toxicity, renal toxicity, and if there is lung pneumonia, pleurisy, such chronic or acute stages of thing, but even then, tuberculinum 1M is my choice.
Yes, sir. We have another question from Dr. Srinivas. He is asking, like, how long this epidemic can persist? How long this epidemic can persist?
You see, now whether what government tells is another issue. I have gone through almost all the virologists' view. I have also gone through the infectious diseases in America and in London. What they are telling, what the previous pandemics, when there were no virucidal medicines, when there were, where was the antibiotics in 14th century? Where was the virucidal medicines? Antivirus medicine came only in 1930. Until then, millions of years, how did people live? That means because of their innate capacity to live on the immunological level. This can go on, according to me now, we are in the third stage, whether you like it or not. For me, another 14 days plus another 14 days. 28 days would be very, very decisive. Afterwards also, it may be start, the graph may stop at least coming horizontal. But for another 28 days, I am sure that the spike will go on.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a question from Dr. Ashwita. She is asking, are there any indicated 3 mark indicated remedy for pulmonary embolism?
You see, one thing, nobody stays up to pulmonary embolism except acute breathlessness to you in the visible things. They may go cyanosed, they may become blue, they may go into gasping, they may go into acute breathlessness. I'm sure if they have come to you at that level and if you're trying to identify pulmonary embolism, I sincerely advise here, it is not your case. Please ask them to just rush to the hospital immediately. Don't try to prove that we do a lot of things, no doubt. We do a lot of other things than what they can't do it. But give scissors unto the scissors. That's what Hanuman has told. If it is not your case, if it is irreversible, immediately refer to a hospital. Please, don't take chances.
Okay, sir. We have a last question to you. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a last question to you from Dr. Nadia. Okay.
Yeah.
She is asking, can arsal be given to the breastfeeding females, babies, old people with comorbidities, if at all they are exposed to the risk?
You see, if the breastfeeding mother, if she is capable of attracting the virus, she is also attracting arsenicum alcohol. And if the comorbid patient, if he is attracting or if he is getting the virus infection, he is easily can give this arsenicum alcohol. No doubt. Can be given.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. These were the questions asked.
Hello, sir. This is Father Roshan. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. This is Father Roshan, administrator of Padamula Homeopathy Medical College.
Namaste,
so thank
sir.
you. Yeah, namaste, sir. Thank you so much. ನಿಮ್ಮ time ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟದಕ್ಕೆ for everything, and it was a very interactive session, very informative, sir. Wonderful.
Yes.
Just my observation, sir. Now Ayurveda has come up with claiming they have cured the corona infected people. They have no, that is going on.
No.
Yes.
No.
That is one thing.
They have, sir, I'll tell you.
Yes, sir.
Our homeopathic, on the homeopathic principle, here one urologist has separated the virus and he has done a dilution and he started distributing it in water to all the people. And he said, according to the homeopathic principles I have done, this is the preventive. Lot of people took. Sir, any medicine, if it has to be officially approved, they have to go 3 to 4 things which are very important. It has to go meta-analysis, it has to go systemic analysis, it has to go RCT, phase 1, phase 2, animal trials if possible, human trials. All these things has to undergo under the scientific scrutiny. You cannot make any tall claim. Whatever these 10 cases which they are telling through Ayurveda is along with the homeopathic, along with the allopathic medicine, they have given this. They have not admitted directly COVID patients purely under the Ayurvedic supervision and given Ayurvedic medicine. Hence, the scientific community will not, even the Ayurvedic people should not claim unless and until they prove they undergo all the scientific scrutiny.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. This just like Ramdev, he has also claimed, no? Similar.
No.
Yeah. Now, sir.
No,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
telling you, one third population in India, they don't have next good. Another 1/3 people are illiterates. We are such a country, we are in such a country, we are ready to take anything. And I'm glad the government, the Ayush department denied permission to treat COVID patients or did not accept what Ramdev said. In spite of all
should not be misled.
obligations, the government did not give. That is the beauty of this country.
Correct. Then ICMR, sir, ICMR has given deadline. They're saying August 15th. they may come up with a drug vaccine. Do you feel that they are in a hurry to come up with vaccine?
Sir, please listen. If you want to prepare a vaccination, it has to undergo whatever I have told: meta-analysis, systemic analysis, RCTs, phase 1, phase 2, animal trials, and human trials. Okay.
Yeah.
The problem now is, if you prepare a vaccine from COVID-19, by the time it comes to market, it will be almost 2021. Then there will be COVID-20. COVID-19 will not act. There is one thing called in immunology and in vaccination theory, immune binding enhancement. That means the protein that which you have separated and made attenuated, if it is not matching with the protein of that virus, instead of preventing it, it will invite.
Yeah.
That means people who have taken vaccination will get the disease. That is the fear. You may remember that even in 1918, the American soldiers did not take vaccinations. 15 people died after vaccination only because of, and they got people vanished only after vaccination. You remember, 15 years back in America, they gave one vaccination for cervical cancer to prevent that. For so many young girls, they gave that vaccination. The beauty or the irony is, whoever got vaccinated with anti-cancerous cervical cancer, they got cancer. They stopped it. Vaccination theory is very tricky.
Yes,
If there is an immune binding enhancement, then the mankind is gone. So they can't do it. Please, for heaven's sake, don't try to do all such things. It is purely the pharma company lobby which they want to do it. Now you tell me honestly, there is one disease known as Casanuru forest disease in Shumaga district.
Yeah.
There are only poor people who are living there. It has come around 10, 15, 20 years back. Do you feel it takes 20 years to make a vaccine out of them? No, nobody is interested. Why? There are only poor people who are living there. They can't afford your vaccinations. Even if you prepare a vaccination, spending crores of rupees, that will go waste. So they don't do such vaccination. Vaccinations is done only to...
Exactly, sir. Now, COVID-19 patient, now they say that that can be monitored by the Ayush doctors, homeopaths. The circular has come and some centers will be given to them and they have to go and visit there. Whether homeopaths are ready, sir, to go and...
Sir, I think probably when time comes, I will talk to my, since I'm the board of governor, I'm just planning tomorrow or day after. In case if they're doing, we will have to bring certain protocols.
Yeah, that is important, sir.
We will online, we will try to people who are ready to treat them, what are all the precautions that they have to take. How case histories have to be taken in such acute case taking.
Yeah.
You don't need to sit for 3 days. All the ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜನಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುತ್ತಾತನಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ನೀವು ಈ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳದೇ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಮಯಾಸ್ಮೆಟಿಕ್ ರೆಮಿಡಿ ಕೊಡೋಕೆ ಆಗಬಹುದು. ಅಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಯಾಸಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, what are the guidelines? I think we should able to fix them up.
So thank you so much, sir, for your time. These are few questions I had. Dr. Dheeraj.
If somebody is happy.
Yes. Dr. Dheeraj.
Yes. Principal, sir, take over.
Can I leave?
I'm sure all the viewers have heard from a person who has got completely involved in the homeopathic system of medicine, and he is talking about something which is realistic. We are not doing anything out of the way. We are with our philosophy. We are with a clear mind and idea. We are proceeding. The last question which our administrator asked also, for which sir's answer is very, very practical. We are now requested by the Ayush Ministry to monitor the COVID centers where there are positive cases but asymptomatic. But there is no permission for us to give any medicine. Now, then what is the purpose of we going there? And we are handling them without any protocols and guidelines. Now, sir has already assured that he is going to speak to the higher authorities and give us a guidance. This is what yesterday and today I have spoken to the district Ayush officer, and I am waiting for a clarification from them also. Because we as homeopaths, when we go there, what is our role? Or a Ayush doctor, what is our role? So these are all the views which sir has shared, with his immense experience. Sir, I thank you from my part for your involvement in this particular time of management of a pandemic, COVID-19. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Now, our administrator, Reverend Father Roshan Krasta, who has, literally has involved himself. He made us to move. He made our younger generation to take over this particular task of, getting the good number of speakers and our alumni come together and make this, event more meaningful. Father, I thank you for your, untiring, support and also guidance in these, sessions, including our vice principal and the team which has worked for it. This is the beginning, the day one, and this is going to be a month-long, activity. I also request all our alumni at various, who are all staying in various states to come together, disseminate this information, and join us every day evening after 5 o'clock. Regarding this particular program, make this particular, particular benefits of this particular program, where we come to know the experience of each and every alumni, and also the homeopathic physicians who can share their views on different clinical conditions. From my side, thank you, Dr. Yes, sir.
How many have logged in? Few.
Actually, in the beginning, there were 500 and
510. 510.
Oh, super.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Dheeraj, carry on.
Yeah. Gratitude is the single most important ingredient to live a successful and fulfilled life. As we have come to an end of today's webinar session, I take privilege to thank our dear Director, Reverend Father Richard Aloysius Quill, for his gracious presence. I would like to thank Reverend Father Roshan Krasta, Administrator, for being our backbone support and making this event successful. I am grateful to Nadoja, Dr. B.T. Rudresh, for his enhancing presentation. I am thankful to Dr. Shivaprasad K. for his timely direction and support throughout. I am thankful to Dr. E.S.J. Prabhusuran, Vice Principal, and Dr. Girish Navada, DMS, for being with us and always guiding us. I would like to thank my team, without whose support, it was a dream come true event. I would especially like to mention their names on this occasion. Dr. Rajachandra, convener of Revision, Dr. Sebastian, NSS coordinator, Dr. Vivek Shaktidaran, Dr. Amit P.P., Dr. Suraj K.V., Dr. Ashik, Dr. Rakal, Dr. Ranjan, Dr. Rishil for being with me always. I would like to thank Dr. Shweta Bhatt for beautiful logo designing and Dr. Amit C.T. for all editing work. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all our dear students, alumni for taking an active part in this today's session. Thank you. Stay safe. Just a reminder about tomorrow's session. We have a presentation by Dr. Sanjay Panikar, and the topic is type of hair loss and its management in homeopathy. Tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. So let us meet tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. God bless you.